Hello, my name is Angela Simon, and I will be talking about the needs of homeless families in Los Angeles. In 2006, the U.S. Census stated that Los Angeles, California had a population of over 10 million. But with that number, 16% of that population is living within poverty. The characteristics of homelessness has changed over time. When we first started thinking about homelessness around 1980s, it was all men, single men. And now 30% of the homeless population make up single mothers, single families that are supported by a mother with at least two children. Homelessness is an important issue within social work because those that are experiencing homelessness are an extremely vulnerable population and they are in need of services. I did this to talk about families experiencing homelessness within Los Angeles, to learn about agencies that offer homeless families resources, and then to know what kind of services are offered to families that are experiencing homelessness. The population that I'm talking about are homeless families, more specifically single parent families or two-parent families. Although there are families that may be living in poverty, they're not considered homeless, but they do have those characteristics. And that population are people that I feel like are at risk of homelessness, and that's who I'm talking about when I'm talking about at-risk families. In order to do this research, I had to do face-to-face interviews, phone interviews, and I'd even sent pre-interview questions to um, one agency before I could even have a face-to-face or a phone interview with them. I interviewed PATH, Wingard Center, which is located directly in the hub of Skid Row, where a lot of homeless people reside, and then Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. I asked everyone the same general question: how is your day going? And it seemed as if at first everyone said they had a good day, but you can see on their face that they were either tired or preoccupied and not really 100% focused on the question that I was even asking. That very first initial question. Everyone that I interviewed had been with their agency for most 2 years. Most of them were a little under 2 years, maybe a year and a half. When we asked how many people were receiving services, it was hard for them to give me an exact number. They were able to tell me that, well, one agency provided a lot of services to families. Two out of the three agencies did not. So PATH was that agency that had family services. Two out of the agencies, they said that they don't know how many people they get. But one of the agencies did say that they house 600 individuals each day. And so that's a big number. A lot of them are providing emergency services of at least 600 a day. The type of families that they are seeing are mostly single parent families, with the head of household being a woman, the mother. Within the homeless population, they provide a lot of services to individuals that may have mental health conditions, substance abuse conditions, may have just been released from incarceration, different things like that. Veterans are a group of the homeless population, including the single families. Certain requirements that most of the agencies require are referral based. They require you to have a referral to get certain services, or they require you to meet certain characteristics as far as what it means to be homeless. They do have some services that provide for people that are at imminent risk for homelessness, specifically PATH, who offers a program for imminent risk for homeless families. A lot of the referrals that they get, like I said, once again, it's hard for them to say referral numbers. On average, they say they get hundreds of referrals a day versus walk-ins, and on average on walk-ins they might get 100 walk-ins a day. And most of these agencies are referral based, and one agency may refer someone to another agency that may refer them to another agency. The average time it takes for a family to find housing depends on the family structure. If it's a two-parent family, how many children there are involved, how many males are in that family. And the bigger families will have a harder time, and it could take up to a year for families to find housing. An individual or a veteran, it will be a lot quicker. There are certain programs that are geared towards veterans. And then for the individuals, they're by themselves and they don't have to have enough space for 5 or 6 people. The challenges that homeless families experience, once again, are the fact that it's harder for them to find housing because there's a number of them, and sometimes they have children, and that makes it even more of a challenge to have children experiencing homelessness. The strength of homeless families, though, is that they are a family. They have that family support. They're not alone in it, they have others there with them. The type of services that they all provide, every agency has referral base. Every agency has a form of housing of their own, whether it's emergency shelter, permanent housing. And one of the common things is that they all provide outsourcing agency and walk-in centers. They have walk-in centers in case you're not able to get one of their permanent housing programs. More of the services I think are needed for families that are at risk for homelessness. Only one agency, PATH, provided services, but it was based off of a referral, and you had to be in imminent risk, and that definition can vary based on each family. I think there needs to be more shelters for all types of families so that everyone can get shelter, whether you have one parent, two parent, males, females, whatever the case may be. And I think there should be more programs that assist families after they've established housing so they don't end up in homelessness again. In order to share my findings, I think that I will get all of the email addresses of everyone that I interviewed and share that information with them, but invite them to a meeting. And because of all these agencies being referral based, I think it will be important for every agency to know what is out there in case they may not support homeless families as much as another agency. And I think it will invite healthy collaboration between agencies within Los Angeles. I think that the hardest thing during this process was the time and persistence, which also allowed for the key factors of my success. I think that me being persistent and trying to get the phone calls to figure out who to talk to, where to go, where to meet someone, how I should ask these questions. And I felt like I was trying to receive services myself because it was so hard for me to get in contact with the right person. Someone would forward me to another one. It's like I was being referred here, referred there. In the future, it would be helpful if these agencies had a direct contact person in case someone like me wanted to ask questions. Overall, it was a challenging experience, but it was very rewarding because I now know just how hard it is for an individual or a family to receive services, the runaround that you might get, the referral process, but also understanding on the inside how hard it is for agencies as far as the various steps and levels to achieving different programs and processes and funding and things like that. Thank you for listening to my presentation and getting a better understanding of what I've learned as far as what the homeless families need in Los Angeles, California, and what services are provided to them. Thank you.